Welcome back, coders, to another quick video. Today we're going to be taking a look at Hi-Fi Rush on the Asus ROG Ally. The reason for it is we have been doing some performance reviews and recommendations for all of you guys getting started with games like this on the ROG Ally. I know since the Legion Go dropped, there has been a lot of speculation on how does the ROG Ally hold up. Is it still the best device on the market for you and things like that? We're not going to answer all those questions today, but we are going to at least give you some tips if you just got your hands on a beautiful ROG Ally on how to get these games running really nicely in the palm of your hand. So as you can see, we're already really close to that 60 FPS line with this game. And I gotta say, it feels amazing on the ROG Ally. There are a couple caveats though that I want to bring up. Being a rhythm game, that we want to make sure that it stays in a pretty healthy performance range. That being said, they've done a really good job not making it feel like you're gonna miss beats even if there is a little bit of a performance hiccup. So I will show you a little bit about my custom profile that I've been using, as well as how it runs at different levels and maybe some of the things that we can do to make it run even better on battery mode. This right here is my preferred way to play the game when I'm not plugged into a wall, and that would be with the 18-watt profile that you see right here. So I've gone ahead and made a custom profile with an 18-watt TDP, and that allows me to get very close to a 50 to 60 FPS line. And for the most part, I am actually getting that on a consistent basis. I'll go ahead and show you my settings that I have currently, which is full screen at 1080p. Actually, we could go windowed full screen. I don't know if that would matter, but we're going to go ahead and do that because why not? It should ironically give us a slightly better performance, maybe an FPS or two. So we'll go ahead and keep it there. But as we were saying, full screen or Windows full screen at 1080p, which you can see here, I'm still at 1080p with AMD RIS on. It's the only thing I use. Never use RSR. Because it's a pain in the butt to get implemented, and also it's just not very consistently good from a performance record. I do recommend that you stick it to a locked 60. It even gives you a warning in the menu. While the frame rate can be unlocked, an unstable frame rate can potentially lead to temporary desynchronization with the audio, leading to less precise inputs. The developer intended the experience to be a locked frame rate, which removes the risk of gameplay desynchronization from music. That's what I was talking about. So as close to 60 as we can get is better. So chromatic aberration on, everything's on, but we also have everything on high, including SSAO on call quality, SSR on, depth of field, everything. The only thing that we're going to be messing with is really the upscaling technology, which I prefer is TSR. There is AMD FSR1. There is XESS, which I believe, I'm not really sure I would use. We can try it for a second, but TSR is the preferred method that I have. So that is what these settings are that I have. And on the ROG Ally screen, it looks as good as it does on the Xbox Series X screen. So when I'm running this on Xbox Series X on my 1440p monitor, it looks that good. Now on the ROG Ally screen, it looks incredible. And the VRR display makes it so that you don't feel any of those little frame rate hiccups that are below 60 FPS, but you can see we're really close to 60 FPS and we're not exactly in a non-demanding environment. So that is part of what I'm talking about. Apparently I pissed everything off.
Rockford here. Shut this place down.
But you can see as we get into even like interior places, we're back to 60 FPS. So only really the bigger, more demanding series are we really having issues. So we'll beat this up. Then we'll try some other setups as well. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and play with some TDPs. I'll show you what it looks like at, I don't think I can get a 10 watt going, but let's go ahead and try. We're gonna go all the way down to 720p, which I think looks quite fuzzy in this game. And we're actually gonna have to get a little bit more aggressive. So at this point, I don't really want to go any lower on the resolution, but I might be willing to go down to different presets on the graphics options to see if we can get a little closer. It's gonna be real hard to pull off at 10 watts, so we're probably gonna have to really cut back So let's go ahead and bring it all the way down to low. I don't think there's anything lower than low. Nope, I didn't do it. So now we're in low. And even still, we're getting a much more reasonable frame rate, but we're still at 45 FPS. So this game is not ideal, and I could go lower with resolution, but as you can see, it's already starting to look quite pixelated. On the ROG Ally screen, I would say it's reasonable, but with how pretty this game is, cutting all these settings back, to me, that's not good. And I just don't think it's worth it. Why did I buy a $700 handheld that can't run this stuff higher? So we're gonna go back up to high. We're gonna just say goodbye with that performance mode. And then now we're gonna actually go back to 1080p, and we're gonna get a little bit more aggressive in this. So we'll go to performance mode on TSR and see what that looks like. Which, to be honest, it looks quite good. Now we are at 19 watts right now, so let's let it settle. Let's get this done. Now we're locked at 15 watts with the performance TSR mode. And as you can see, we're getting quite good performance now. Locked at 60 in this area, and there's a lot of geometry going on right now. Nice, and we're just gonna let it roll. So you can see at 15 watts, we are reasonably able to play this game in a really good looking manner. So TSR on performance mode actually looks quite good. We got rid of his shielding. So you can just watch that frame rate while we play this section. Because it's performing quite well.
It's guarding everything. I can stop that.
Okay, now we gotta do our block move. I did not do a great job. But as you can see, we didn't drop a single frame on the performance mode. So this gives us plenty of overhead to work with at 15 watts. And the reason why that's good is 15 watts is particularly battery saving. So 18 watts custom profile is a safe way to brute force it with higher image quality. 15 watts is the way that I would play if you're going battery only and you're not really wanting to sacrifice graphical quality. You don't mind a little bit of aliasing on the edges, which you might see on some of these walls and things like that. You can see, especially with movement, it can break up a little bit. I don't see a lot of it though, and I think that TSR is better than FSR in many cases. So I would recommend that you go ahead and go with the 15 watt profile. Now let's go ahead and try to brute force this game and see what we can get in terms of performance. So I'm going to go ahead and take the frame rate limit all the way up to 120, which we will not get at any point, I don't believe. But we'll see. We are getting 115 though, and it feels absolutely buttery smooth. So at 30 FPS, let's see our 30 watts. Let's go ahead and see if we can get a version of this running that we would be happy with when it settles down to 30 watts. Now we're locked at 30 watts, which is perfect. This is going to be more representative of performance. And you can see we're up at 85 FPS. And I think this is a large reason why we were staying at 60 FPS. But let's go ahead and do one more test, which is lock it down to 60 FPS, change it back to 15 watts, because at 15 watts, I'm hoping that we can still stay at 60 locked in here. So at 20 watts, we're doing fine. Anything above 18 is going to be fine for this game. You will not have any issues if you're above 18 watts in this game. there's a ton of like little hidden collectibles everywhere. I really love this game. This is honestly one of my favorite games ever. It's like a good top 20 game of all time to me. And that might sound crazy to some, but I truly have enjoyed it that much. Every moment that I've played it, it just felt inventive and creative beyond anything I'd played before. So let's let it settle to 15 watts. Okay, so now we're at 15 watts, and you can see this game just really does perform extremely well, even in the most demanding areas. We're at 56 FPS at 15 watts, with only changing our TSR to performance. And I will say, yes, we have an image quality hit, but if I'm looking at the ROG Ally screen like right now, it's quite impressive and doesn't look bad at all. And I would say you won't be able to notice those dips. Yes, there may be some minor desync things, but it's not a big enough difference where I think it's gonna cause an issue. I think overall you have really two options here. You either run it 15 watts and go ahead and crank everything up, go on performance, a TSR, or you go all the way up to 30 watts and just make TSR on quality and keep it locked at 60, and you will just never have a dip ever, and it will be a perfect experience. So that's my quick little performance review on Hi-Fi Rush. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to like the video if you like this kind of content. Let me know down below what other games you'd like to see covered, as well as some deep dives into their overall performance and makeup. And make sure to stick it here by subscribing and hitting that bell for notifications, or checking out our memberships if you want to support the channel in a different way. We really appreciate you. And as always, stay classy, coders.